Good evening. The July 10th, 2024 council meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call, please.
Dr. Vogt.
Here.
Mrs. Wittes.
Here.
Mr. Dangler is absent. Dr. Selly is absent. Mr. Vieira.
I'm here. Please all stand for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. I will now read the mission statement of the City Council. The Long Branch Mayor, City Council, and Administration are committed to cultivating an environment of mutual trust and respect that values the diversity of our community. We will strive to enhance the quality of life for all who live here by making Long Branch a desirable place in which to live and prosper. We will treat all members of the public with respect and expect the same in return.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act and posted as required by law.
Thank you. Reading the approval of previous minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 24th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Vogt.
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes.
Same.
Mr. Dangler is absent. Dr. Selly is absent. Mr. Vieira.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Consideration of ordinance, public hearing, and final consideration. Ordinance 016-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 319, Trees of the Code of the City of Long Branch by creating Article 2, tree removal, replacement, and amending Chapter 345, zoning. Article 5, special regulations, Section 345-47.3, tree preservation. This ordinance was introduced on June 26, 2024, and the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection requires the City of Long Branch to establish minimum requirements for tree removal and replacement to reduce soil erosion, pollen runoff, promote infiltration of rainwater into the soil, and protect the environment, public health and safety, and the welfare. We need a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance only.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If any member of the public has any comment to make on this ordinance only, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes and may only speak once on ordinance 016-24.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nan Simon, 8 Cordelia Court, Long Branch. And as most of you know, I'm a member of the Environmental Commission and the Green Team here in town. I just want to speak in support of the ordinance. I know there was a bit of back and forth between the DC and the administration when it was being developed, but at the end of the day, we're very supportive of this ordinance. Trees, in addition to the stormwater management benefits, which is what's driving this ordinance, offer a lot of other benefits, especially on days like today, I can tell you. We recently did a tree inventory with the city. Part of that tree inventory was a tree canopy study. And one of the findings was that in the last 12 years, the tree canopy in Long Branch has declined about 10%. And that's a citywide, it's not like a particular pocket of the city. So, it's something that the EC and the Green Team feel is something we'd like to work with the city on to try to reestablish some of the trees in the city. And we think this ordinance will hopefully help residents come to value, the trees in their yards, and help preserve them or replace them if they're in a place where they can no longer be maintained. We know that this is going to be kind of a culture change for people to actually have to get a permit to remove, a large number of trees in your yard. And we'd like to offer our services to partner with the city to help inform the public as, however you'd like to work with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else?
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch, requesting 1-minute notification. Council President Vieira, related to this ordinance, Resolution 174 hires a CTE, Certified Tree Expert. Was that resolution put on tonight to accommodate this ordinance? Yes or no?
I cannot give you an answer right now.
Well, you're going to vote on an ordinance and a resolution, but you can't give me an answer.
No.
Council's not prepared to vote on this ordinance. Tree ordinance amends Chapter 345 of the zoning. Article 5, Special Regulations, Section 345-47-3, to update tree replacement requirements, promote infiltration, reduce erosion and pollution runoff. Under the hazard tree classification, it states, under 5, a tree is determined to be a threat to public health, safety, and/or welfare by a certified arborist or licensed tree expert. Section 319-12, regulatory activity, submitted, quote, tree removal application to the council for their approval. No tree shall be removed until municipal officials have reviewed and approved the removal with a $25 application fee for you people to remove, as if the people aren't paying enough in taxes in this city. So the property owner is now forced further on with a fee. Item D, replacement alternatives, pay a fee of $100 per tree to be removed. $100 goes into a tree fund. Again, the cost, $100 to remove. Mr. Raynon, that $100 to remove, is that a fee or is that the total cost of the removal of the tree, $100?
But $100 is a fee that is paid into a fund that is used for tree replacement.
So it's not going to pay for the removal of the tree,
No, whoever is removing the tree pays for the removal of the tree.
which can run into thousands.
It-
Police
Well,
department will
well,
enforce the
you're-
ordinance.
You got a little.
The police department, I got your answer, I didn't like it.
No,
Stop.
stop for a
The
second.
No, you don't stop me.
This is,
Police department will enforce this ordinance, as if the police in this city don't have enough to do. Section 319-15, visitations, violations, and penalties. Any person who is found in violation of the provisions of this ordinance shall be subject to a minimum of $100 to $1,000 fine per tree. This is gross. Environmental totalitarianism. I'm requesting a no vote on Ordinance 16. The ordinance doesn't properly address clearly a list of approval replacement trees. It doesn't address invasive species of trees, and it doesn't properly address top-rooted replacement trees. Again, this ordinance has not proven that it will benefit the city, as it is going to further burden the property owner, especially with regulations and fees. All this does is create undue hardship, and that's a legal term, for the property owner. It's just another bureaucratic, enhancing, money-making cash grab by the city. It's unjustified and it's wrong. I remind the city and the Environmental Commission of its record. Mr. Dangler wanted to be the first with plastic bags, banning them. Long Branch was going to be the first, and the Environmental Commission was applauding itself. Congratulations, Long Branch. You are now the first in the state to triple the amount of bags in the landfill because it's been a catastrophic failure. Catastrophic. To carry bags.
1 minute notification.
Or multiple plastic bags, used twice and disposed.
Mr. Laporte, the bag's got nothing to do with this ordinance.
Yes, it does. It has to
No,
do
it
with the
doesn't.
environmental record of this commission.
No, this is a tree ordinance.
You couldn't even answer the question. How do you know what this ordinance is about?
What I can answer the question, I don't, that's up to me, okay, up here. So I run the
You didn't know
show.
the answer, so how are you going to vote on this ordinance?
I vote, listen, we talked about.
I don't want to listen. You made your statement.
If you don't want to listen.
This environmental commission should have better priorities,
All
like
right,
fighting offshore wind farms, than worrying about burdening people in the city with tree expenses. I'm requesting a no vote.
Thank you. You want to explain anything?
is there anybody else in the public?
Anybody
that's-
else?
Yes, just about the tree order.
Okay, thank you.
So you want to close the public portion?
Then need a motion to close the public portion?
So
We do
moved.
after they close the
Second.
public portion.
All right,
I don't want
thank
to
you.
go back and forth.
Mr. Reno?
Council President, I just want to be clear, this ordinance, most municipalities in the state have tree removal ordinances, and in all due respect to Mr. Lepore, excuse me,
No, you don't interrupt.
excuse me,
Excuse me.
excuse me.
Excuse me.
Most,
interrupt, yeah.
most municipalities in the state have some form of a tree removal ordinance. The cost, if you don't replace a tree into the tree fund, those costs are usually between $300 and $500. So this is $100. So this is not an onerous type fee. That's the first thing. The second thing that everybody needs to understand is that the city had a tree ordinance, but the state of New Jersey, and I think the member from the Environmental Commission mentioned it, changed stormwater regulations, and you've probably seen a series of ordinances that we've adopted that were required by the state. One was a large amendment to our stormwater ordinance. The second was we passed pretty recently an ordinance regulating salt barns, and I know that seems kind of esoteric, but it's something that the state wanted us to do because of the water that runs off salt barns. And the tree ordinance was another one because of the stormwater impacts of it. So what we did here is we added to our currently existing ordinance, already existed, the state's requirements for the process for removing any tree in the city of a certain caliber. The only thing that we did to our current ordinance is to amend the schedule of tree replacement so that it matches the state. So this isn't, criticism of whether or not it's more government or it's more fees or whatever. It's fair if you want to make those criticisms, but understand that when we're directed by the state to make these changes, we make these changes, and that's our point. The other thing, and I didn't mean to interrupt Mr. Lepore, though sometimes it's confounding when he gets off on one of his tangents. If the whole point of this is not that we're ordering people to remove trees and now they have to pay for removing the trees. This is somebody who wants to remove a tree who comes to the city and says, I would like permission to remove a tree. That's the process here. So this is not us forcing people to remove trees. I just want to make that clear. So, it makes it sound like, well, you're imposing the fee for removing the tree and the other costs. Well, the answer is no. This is that if you decide that you want to remove a tree, this is the process by which you go through. And by the way, there was a process in place anyway. So that's the point I just wanted to make, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Reno.
We need a vote on the, we need a vote.
Okay. This is the second reading.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
This is the second reading of ordinance 16-24. I need a motion to adopt on the second and final reading as advertised and according to law.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion passed. Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Mr. Dangler is absent, Dr. Sully is absent, Mr. Viera,
Yes.
motion passed.
Ordinance for introduction, none. Public participation of the resolutions and general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? If there's anyone on the audience that has a comment to make, please step to the podium and state your name and address clearly for the record. You'll have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Hello. I did not mean to interrupt. I just didn't understand what that subject was about. So if I was disrespectful, I apologize.
No problem, thank you.
I am here from 340 Ocean Ave North in Oceans Glen, apartment 1F. My name is Cheryl Lambiase, Lambiase. The first one was worse, was Sapienza. Nobody could spell that. Anyway, I am here proposing that you guys take a look at putting I've been thinking hard about this, and I talked to Mayor Pallone last week, and I really appreciate that that man called me within 48 hours of me making the phone call. I was very impressed and shocked because I was in the middle of a haircut, but that's okay. I was really surprised when he called me 48 hours after I talked to, I believe, Michael, is his secretary or assistant. But I want, something has to be done at the entrance to the park. Now that I know his name is Jimmy Colano, I call him Jimmy Strollo. Now that Jimmy Strollo is only 3 doors with 2 driveways in from the corner, there are children every single day that walk from the park to the ice cream store and back. And if their mothers can see them, they don't always come out of the park with them. My problem is I've almost got killed here 4 times in only my first 4 weekends of being here. I'm here 12 weeks out of the year. Weekends, mostly. When people come down Joe Line, and I drew it, it's not nice handwriting, but a diagram. When they come down Joe Line, as the mayor knows, you hit Ocean Boulevard at a light. The next, and it's 2 lanes in and out. The next is a stop sign on this side and a stop sign on this side. Do you think anybody stops? 4 times, and I will not curse in this room, I have had to put my hand up and say, it's not a blanket pause sign, it's a stop sign. And the last person that almost killed me, literally the 2 days before 4th of July week, I will not ride 4th of July week. I think they're drunk when they get here, these kids, no matter what their parents think of them. And now that pot is legal, everybody's high, okay? But once they get, and I believe the mayor was right, he said to me, he believes that because the whole last section of Joe Line turns into 1 lane, they've already been driving 45 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, and by the time they get to that stoplight, the frustration is now that all they see is the park. I agree with that, but it doesn't mean I want to lose my life over it. Something has to be done. I've already talked to close to 55 women who would have signed a petition, which I didn't go through with printing out, only because somebody told me they heard a rumor in the last 6 weeks that the town was talking about making a circle there, like they did on 2nd and Broadway, which would be a nightmare. Maybe not for cars, but for bicyclists, a nightmare. I have a picture I could show you of myself when I ride at 7 in the morning. I am in either neon green or fuchsia pink, or I can't make it any more colorful. But I sat last week after I spoke with the mayor on Friday and just pulled over on the side and watched for a few minutes as people came driving in. They go like this. They're looking for cars. They're not looking for cyclists. And what really sent me over the edge and brought me here tonight is the last person who did it was probably last Monday, like a week ago Monday, before 4th of July started. And I'm riding, here's Strollo's, and there's people that have big hedges. First time I really had to hit my brakes, but so did he, because he would have run me over. Guess what, guys? He was a park ranger working in the park. And I said to him when I saw him in the park, you too? I mean, I know all these guys, I'm here 11 years. Even you don't stop and you work here? You've heard me complain about this. Too many people come through that parking lot not caring about anything, as you said, but getting into that park. Jimmy Strollo himself told me 3 or 5 years ago, one of his employees got hit in that intersection walking home. I talked to a surfer who's in my age range, over 60, and he told me, oh my God, I've lived here my whole life. I grew up in Red Bank, but I surf over here. That entrance has been a nightmare since they put it in. He said, I can't tell you the amount of accidents I saw at 70 years old, living here my whole life. So all I'm requesting, and I thank you for listening to me and seeing me, all I'm requesting is that I'm not going to stop. So if you have a suggestions for me to make from here on, make a petition, start getting it signed. Anybody that lives on that street, and the girl that got me in contact with Jimmy Strollo, I'm not going to use her name, worked for him for 3.5 years. She goes out and runs at 5:30 in the morning, and they still try to kill her. Because she has a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 3-year-old. She said, Cheryl, I try to run before the kids are up. She said, but every day, you you got to slow down. I'm driving now riding on the wrong side of the road over there to make sure I can see who's coming off Joe Line. It's a bad intersection that needs to be looked at. I went to see Jimmy. I thought he would support me, but obviously he's worried if it's a four-way stop. And I understand that. I'm a business owner. He's worried that there's going to be a line of traffic blocking his driveways. And it's a very, very valid point, which is one of the reasons I'm asking, can we make some suggestions? Can we come up with some ideas?
Thank you.
Okay? Or like one of those, I know they said that the stop sign from Joe Line is not, I believe, town-owned. Even if they put lights around it.
Ma'am, if you can just grab the Director of Public Safety's business card, he'll make an appointment with you and we'll come out and meet with you there. Okay? He's the Director of Public Safety.
William Brown.
Nice to meet you. And again, Mayor, thank you for calling me
Thank
so
you.
prompt.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Stephanie, my last name is Jeffrey, and I live on Jefffery. I live on 275 West End Avenue. I grew up in Long Branch my whole life. I worked for your brother Frank when I was little. So what brings me here tonight is the speeding on my street is egregious. It is unbelievable. I can't even imagine what I'm seeing at times. I live on West End Avenue. I face Hoey. I live probably 3 houses in from the vocational school where a lot of police officers kind of sit in there. And I don't know, they don't pull people over, but I'm a cut-through street. You obviously know how far West End Avenue comes off of Norwood, goes all the way down to the beach. I'm a homeowner, and I've owned my house for 7 years. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. I can't say it's just in the summer because it is a beach area and there's a lot of people from New York that live on my street. It's year round. And I have a 13-year-old son who I just started letting him ride his bike after begging me since he was 11 because I'm petrified of my son riding his bike. And I shouldn't have to live like that. Right now I have gray hair because I'm checking the locator all the time to make sure he's okay. The speed, I've seen cars, if I could clock them, there was actually a speed, at one point, a speed sign in front of my house at the end of my driveway, clocking the speed. So obviously you guys are aware of the problem. We had a tragedy last year. A little girl died right around the corner off of 2nd Avenue on Cottage Place due to speed. And I don't want 25 miles per hour written on my street in memory of my child or any other children. Matter of fact, there is a bus stop for Long Branch Public Schools that picks up children in grammar school right across from my house. I've seen cars speed around the buses. Now we have summer camp, and it's a very busy street there's a lot of children. You have public housing up the street. You have Woodrow Wilson, or if they change it to whatever the new name is, Clark Lewis, whatever. You have another complex across from Woodrow Wilson, and there's kids out there playing all the time. And I'm so afraid something's gonna happen. I'm begging you, because like her, I will be back. Trust me, I will be back. If something doesn't get done about this. I'm scared to death something's gonna happen. I don't wanna be here after something happens to one of these kids. And I'm talking for the community, not just my son. But I'm nervous, and it's hardwood floor bands, it's young kids, it's out-of-towners. It's just post a cop in front of Hoey, and I guarantee you somebody will be pulled over every 5 minutes. Me and my husband sit in the front lawn and enjoy the evening, a nice summer night, and you just hear boom, 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 back and forth. It's like Wall Stadium on my street. And I talked to Serge Shapiro, who coaches my son in wrestling. I seen him on 4th of July. I said, Serge, what could we do about this? He goes, go to the city council meeting. He goes, I agree with you. West End Avenue, 2nd Avenue. It took, unfortunately, a tragedy for them to put 25 miles per hour written on 2nd Avenue. That wasn't always there. I'm from Long Branch. I appreciate the bike lanes. That was a good move, for children and people riding bikes. But I don't know how it's, much more I can, as a mother and speaking for the other mothers, there's kids all over, and I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want anything to happen. Speed bumps? I don't know if you could do speed bumps on that street, but there's got to be some kind of way of people knowing what the speed limit is, because it's 25, and I would say the normal is 45, 50. I've seen 60, easy, just flying, and I see these poor women getting out of their cars. I have a driveway, but these poor women are watching as they're getting out of their driveway, getting out their groceries. So I'm just, please, I'm very, very concerned. And as Long Branch is growing, and Broadway is just getting busier and busier, this town, and it's just making me very nervous. And I would appreciate if you can look into that. Okay?
Thank you, Stephanie. This is, we get our director to look right into that.
Please.
Ma'am, just, so you know, another neighbor has already contacted us. We have some surveying equipment going out there in the next few
Really?
weeks.
On the same
And-
street?
yes. And once that's done, if you leave your name and number with the director, we'll get in touch with you and let you know what we come up with.
Please,
Yep.
we don't need something to
Absolutely.
happen to one of our children.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Good evening. My name is Rosita Tatum, Tatum, and I live at, where the heck do I live? I just forgot. I'm so nervous, I don't like speaking in public, as you can tell. I live at 27 Eastwood Avenue. Now, my problem I'm having is, across from me is Sterling Estates. I am literally right in their parking lot, my house faces, where like two of the townhouses that are there. The garbage, I can't, it smells. They don't pick, if they pick it up, for some reason they'll pick up one, but won't pick up the cans, the bottles, the cardboards. I'm out there with my broom, with my little picker thing, and I'm picking this stuff up because it blows over at our street. And I have called, I've been down to the code enforcement, Janae, about 3 times. I've called, I've lost count of how many times I've called them. I stopped at Congressman Pallone's yesterday, and the girl told me they couldn't, because I was just like getting fed up with it. So the girl told me they couldn't do anything but to come here and let you guys know. Now, they tell me that they fine them. I don't know. What does he think fine means? It's okay? No, fine means you're going to get some money, and obviously the money doesn't mean anything to him. Maybe he's not being fined enough because whoever owns it is doing nothing about it. We should not have to, as taxpayers, put up with this. I mean, it's like, only results we get if I call. If I call, they will send someone to pick it up. But I shouldn't have to do that. Then, one other thing, I'm almost done, I promise.
Okay.
Then I'm on Eastwood. They come down that street, it's a one-way street. They're like, well, I'm only going one way, but you're going the wrong way. They do it constantly coming down that street. And like the lady was saying earlier, why can't they put speed bumps there? We have kids out there playing, and they're coming down. They actually come down from Rockwell and then go out on July. I'm like, what the heck? They can't see that they're going the wrong way. They don't care. So if you could please do something about it, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have heard from some. Okay. Thanks, Ms. Tatum.
Hi, I'm Marta Young with Clean Water Action. I live in Lincroft. I spoke with some of you a couple weeks ago about the campaigns.
Could raise the microphone a little bit.
Sorry, thank you. I spoke with some of you a couple weeks ago about Skip the campaign, Skip the Stuff. It's a growing campaign. A handful of towns passed it back in 2019, 2020. Now there's 7, 8 other towns and cities across New Jersey. It's a campaign in which customers only get cutlery and condiments upon request. For takeout orders. It's saving restaurants a lot of money. The wonderful restaurants in Oceanport have, Oceanport passed it, Red Bank has passed it, Aberdeen has passed it, Eatontown will now be passing it. So a bunch of your neighbors will be passing it. It would be wonderful if you all did. Again, I don't know about you, but when I get takeout orders, I open up the bag, and sometimes a lot of restaurants are already beginning to do this, and this is great because it saves them a lot of money. But otherwise, you open it up and you're taking the food back home, and you have the ketchup, you have the soy sauce, you have your own better cutlery, and you end up having this handful of plastic flimsy stuff that you end up throwing it away, or in my case, I open up a junk drawer and I throw it in there, or I throw it in the back of the refrigerator until it expires. But with the growing pollution of the plastic waste, that's causing cancers, it's causing, mental health, it's causing endocrine issues and the fertility issues. This is, to me, an absolute no-brainer of a way in which everybody comes out ahead. It's a triple win with customers winning, and again, restaurants are saving a lot of money with this. It would be wonderful if you all join the motion. There's a state legislation that will be introduced in the spring, or I'm sorry, in the fall. So as towns are introducing it and as towns are getting these ordinances, it's a wonderful way of educating the public, because it has nothing to do with fines or anything, because everybody comes out ahead. It's a matter of education because everybody wins. So again, I would love to help, to do anything I can to help in the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janaea McFarlane. I live at 27 Eastwood Avenue with my mother. And I just want to reiterate what she has said about 27 about Eastwood Avenue, how it comes off of Julian Avenue. You come onto it from Julian Avenue, then you're supposed to be a stop sign there. It used to be many years ago a stop sign there. Somebody ran it over. They never put it back up. Then when you proceed to go straight, you head into University Drive, or you make a right finish onto Eastwood Avenue out to Rockwell. There needs to be something done, like she said, like my mom said, like maybe do not enter. Like they got do not enter signs on Union Avenue now. Maybe we need do not enter going towards Joanne Avenue. Because like she said, there's kids out all day long, playing and stuff like that, especially now in the summer. And the last thing we want to see is a child get killed or hurt. All right, there's a lot of bicycle rides, electric bikes and stuff like that, scooters, they popping wheelies and stuff like that. And also, a do not enter on the Rockwell side. So it should be a do not enter on Rockwell side, and it should be a do not enter on the July side that you come onto Eastwood from July Avenue. It's just not right. Something needs to be done. Y'all did bicycle lanes finally. Since I used to live on 241 Long Branch Avenue, when I was a child, we needed bicycle lanes then. But now that all these, rich people came up in here and basically y'all able to finally do it. God knows how many lives are lost until y'all did that. And then when it comes to the garbage, I have pictures of how the dumpsters are just horrendous, just horrible looking. You got animals and stuff all over the place, squirrels, skunks, raccoons, whatever else, stray cats, they all go in these dumpsters. It stinks to high heaven. It's just not fair. Because if I was to go down to Ocean Boulevard, anywhere like that, where they would have dumpsters and stuff, it won't be looking like that. It is not fair. It's just not fair. That's all I have to say. And if you want to take a look, I don't know if I could approach the board, I could show you what the dumpsters look like. Okay. If it's okay.
You guys want to look at the
Want to
picture?
stay afterwards?
No, stay afterwards, we'll take a look at it. After the meeting, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Gladys Tarantino, Narragansett Avenue, Long Branch. Last time I was here in June, Attorney Reynaud stated that there was a state statute in reference to the ordinance for Mary Jane. I would like to say that I went home, I read the state statute, it has been posted on the site, and I would like to state that I feel misled. It's not a matter of, there's nothing you can do about it, it's a state statute. There is things that can be done. The state statute is not a mere sentence. It is many areas that involve things. For instance, under Section C, it is upon the determination that the governing body no longer resides within the corporate limits of the municipality. We were told, oh yes, she is, she's a resident. The General and State Assembly of New Jersey describes a person whose residence is where they spend the majority of his or her non-working time, clearly the center of their domestic life. Mary Jane is not here. She may have a home within the city of Long Branch. I also would like to make everyone aware of the fact that Mary Jane is voted in until May of 2026. Not only have they denied us the representation for over the past year, but they are going to deny us that representation with an ordinance, which is a law in the city of Long Branch. Why it had to be a law is because they didn't want to bring it up again. They couldn't use a resolution, which is a temporary, special consideration for someone in the city. No, they make a law. Is this perhaps a precedent that this is how others will follow? They'll get elected knowing they can't fulfill their duties, and then they will turn around and get excused by the council. Unfortunately, we are entitled to a mayor and 5 city council members by law. They are denying us that representation. It infuriates me. I don't know how you can sit there and ask for respect from us when you don't respect us in return. You cannot respect. Do you respect Mary Jane? She was a dignified woman in this community. Do you hear what people are saying in this community about her being selfish and stingy because she won't resign? Do you know Mary Jane has said many things? And at one time, before she disappeared, she had said, "It's all arranged. I'm going to die in my seat." Well, maybe it was arranged. We thought perhaps Mary Jane was losing it. Mary Jane is not able to physically or mentally serve in her capacity, which is Section E of the statute, and therefore can be removed. It is either that you do not wish to do so because you do not wish to have a new face, a new personality, someone that might question what is going on, someone that might bring forth the information of the residents of this city. No, I was told, you've got 4 others. Well, the respect you have showed me, you do not represent me. And I am demanding a 5th representation. I asked you not to approve it. Does this mean Mary Jane gets paid till 2026? Is this what deception you are putting upon the residents of this city? I'm disgusted. I can't believe that you sit there with smiles on your face, you smirk when someone gets up here to say that they're unhappy with what's going on. You say we rant and rave. Well, you're right, I am ranting. I am furious that you treat me this way. You treat the citizens of the residents of this city this way. How dare you? You call yourself professional individuals. You've got till 2026 to find new representation. You can find out how to go about it. You do not have to accept that they merely put up 5 people. You can have others stand up and go for a vote. Come on, don't just sit back and let them dictate what goes on in this city. You have a voice, use it.
You? Yeah, go ahead.
Council President, I just want to once again say that we all, like I said, everybody's entitled to have an opinion, but facts are facts. So the fact of the matter is that there is a statute, it's called the Municipal Vacancy Law, and the Municipal Vacancy Law specifically says that a governing body has to excuse somebody who misses a certain number of meetings, but they cannot refuse to excuse somebody if the reason that they're missing the meetings is because of a legitimate illness. So, I mean, that's section G, so if you want to, excuse me, excuse me, man.
You had your
Excuse me.
5 minutes, we let you speak.
We let you speak, now
We
it's
let
my
you
turn.
speak, we didn't
Then sit
interrupt
down.
you.
For that privilege.
So,
Please sit down.
so, and by the way, just so you know, nobody passed an ordinance, that was done by resolution. We haven't passed any ordinances with regards to, Councilwoman Selly.
Excuse me.
It was a
Excuse me.
resolution, and please, ma'am, I didn't yell at you when you were speaking. Please don't yell at me when I'm speaking. So the council, you know, is following a state law with regards to vacancies in office. Councilwoman Selly was elected, and she's entitled to hold that seat. And, you know, we're constrained by what the law tells us that we can do. And I think that that's what the council is doing. And I won't get into a debate about what residency means or doesn't mean, but certainly, you know, as I said at the last council meeting, I would hope if any of you here have to go stay in a hospital for some period of time, it doesn't mean that you're no longer residents of the city of Long Branch. You just are. So that's what the law is. Thank you.
Excuse me.
So,
Excuse me.
Council President, I have nothing else.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch, requesting 1-minute notification. Excellent job, Ms. Tarantino. You're right on target.
Thank you, Mr. Lepore.
These so-called representatives have totalitarian government upon which, under the color of law, they do wrong. On July 2nd, the West End Long Branch NJ Watchdogs broke the announcement from the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office that a West Long Branch firefighter and paid fire administrator, who is also a Long Branch firefighter and city employee of Public Works, was criminally charged with falsification and destruction of official records as concerns Oprah's, involving falsified training certificates. At the April 10th council meeting, I had asked this city if the state authorities had been notified by the city of a city firefighter allegedly falsifying fire training certificates. Mr. Broughton, Mr. Raynone, and council would not discuss the matter. Tonight, I will ask again, Mr. Broughton, as Director of Public Safety of Police and Fire, have you and the city notified state authorities on the now allegedly charged city employee? Yes or no? No comment. Mr. Broughton, is this alleged employee working for the city, or it has been terminated?
I'll answer that. It no longer is working for the city.
He is no longer working for the city. Mr. Broughton, what kind of policy is it? With such an imbalance in the treatment of employees, when a police officer is indefinitely laid off over an animal welfare matter that resulted in the finding of a dead dog, and now we had months running this city knowing about this firefighter and his alleged wrongdoing, and no action was taken until the prosecutor's office took action. Doesn't speak well for the city, does it, Mr. Broughton? No, it doesn't. It is widely known in the fire department that this individual, who the prosecutor allegedly charged, headed the company for the Atlantic Avenue Firehouse, involved in the sale of that firehouse directly with this administration. Quote, it is also widely known in the fire department as well that the chief at that time was against the purchase of the building for a museum and strongly believed that the money would be better spent on buildings that actively operate as fire stations for firefighters. It was at the time of the sale that the administration decided to spend money on the Norwood Avenue Firehouse to deflect the policy of the former fire chief, spending money for improvements. But as of this date, the work remains unfinished at the Norwood Avenue Firehouse.
1 minute notification.
To this day, there are still serious questions about the sale of that Atlantic Avenue Firehouse. Let's hope the state does its job in investigating. Mr. Raynon, why are the majority of the professional service contracts listed on tonight's agenda being awarded to Middlesex County-based outfits, with you included, your law firm?
I didn't play a role in scoring or making the recommendation, so the answer is I'm assuming they were the most qualified.
No, it's the Boyles. S-P-O-I-L-S, spoils of the
And by the way,
Palone,
I'm a resident of Monmouth.
Middlesex County.
By the way, I'm a resident of Monmouth County and
I
have
am
been my
asking-
whole life. Just so you know, I live in Middletown.
Spoils of the Palone, Middlesex
know.
County base pay-to-play gravy train. That's what it's all about. Mr. Martin,
5
has
minutes.
Kushner come up with the audits?
Thank you, Mr. Lepore.
Yes or no? Oh, 5 minutes is up, so you got out of that one. All right, we got enough meetings in the future for the malpractice of this city.
Anyone else?
This is yours.
I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will now ask Madam Clerk if there are any changes to the list of resolutions.
No changes have been made.
Thank you. We can take the list of resolutions as one consent agenda.
So moved. Second?
Roll call, please.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Mr. Dangler is absent. Dr. Sully is absent. Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Applications are done. Miscellaneous for business of good of the order. Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you, Council President. And let me start by thanking everybody who came tonight and bringing to our attention some of the concerns that you're dealing with. It's wonderful that we have our Director of Public Safety here. We have our business administrator, the people who, as you can see, can respond and help to resolve some of these things. So we appreciate you bringing these issues forward. I do want to congratulate and thank the Environmental Council. And what I want to thank them for is, first of all, the tremendous amount of work that they do, the care and concern that they have about our city on environmental issues, and their hard work in terms of bringing their expertise forward and working with the city in a very cooperative way, particularly on getting our tree ordinance passed. So congratulations to your work, and I think also congratulations for the way it was handled back and forth. So a good model for going forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wittes.
I too would like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. And can't hear you. I said I would like to, I'm sorry, I have a sore throat. I also would like to thank the Environmental Commission, because we know how hard you work and that you give it your all, and we truly appreciate everything you do. And with that, I wish everyone a healthy rest of their week and 2 weeks, and see you then. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pallone.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to thank everybody for coming this evening and for your comments. I have 2 announcements I just wanted to make. So the Arts Center has a new exhibit called Tides of Change, and is focused on the history of life-saving and surf culture here in Long Branch. We're very excited for this exhibit, and it'll be running from now until the end of August. We have a reception set for July 22nd, 6 to 8 p.m. The exhibit itself has a lot of lifeguarding memorabilia, history, art, surf culture artifacts, come and check. It's one of our biggest exhibits yet, and we're very excited about it. I also wanted to mention that next Wednesday, we have a free pool fun day at the community pool on Atlantic Avenue. That's next Wednesday, July 17th, from 5 to 8 p.m. Everyone is welcome to the pool. Join us for food, music, and some games. And have a great week, and thank you all for being here this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also wanted to say good evening and thank you for everybody that came out with their concerns. To get together with our Director of Public Safety, Broughton. We'll work to fix those problems. And I also want to echo what the fellow councilman said with environmental. Thanks for all the hard work you do, and it's well appreciated. And I want to thank the chiefs for being on the back, for supporting us, coming almost every council meeting. Thank you. With that, I want to say good night. I have a motion to close.
So moved.
Adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.